Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. My name is Dan Hafner. A very interesting show for you today. Today is September 12th, Friday, September 12th, 2025. Lots of things going on. Obviously, there are a couple of things that are happening in the AI world with transforming hybrid roles. There's a billionaire that's urging people to adopt AI. And then a very interesting story with Replit raising a ton of money. You've never heard of Replit. It's a lovable type of vibe coding app. Very, very interesting story that we're going to cover there. A bunch of different things going on. Before I get started in all of that, I did just want to take a couple of minutes to just kind of acknowledge all the things going on in the world right now. Today is September 12th. Obviously, yesterday was September 11th. I remember where I was. I was a young man. I think I was in like fifth grade. Just want to have a moment to just remember all the victims of that day. As a Pennsylvanian, there was, one of the crash sites of Flight 93 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Always kind of felt like a close to home kind of thing, even though it was nowhere near me. I know that they said I lived in Erie at the time, that there was one of the planes actually had kind of almost flown over Erie. It was a very, I remember all these different things about it, just being alive at that time as a young man. Very, very, sad day for our country. And then the day before with Charlie Kirk being assassinated, obviously I got to say I was not a listener of Charlie Kirk's. I knew who he was. I'd honestly never listened to a single episode of his podcast. I had seen him appear on other podcasts I'd listened to, like the PBD podcast. Definitely was a fan. Very, very just incredibly sad story to see how he was murdered. And I just hope that there's justice brought to the person who did that. And I just want to say prayers for his family, his wife, his kids, his loved ones. Just such a terrible loss. And I don't want to. I do have some political views on this show, but I don't want to turn this into a solely political thing. But I just wanted to express my my prayers for nobody should have to go through that. I don't care what side of politics you are on. I don't care who you support. No one should have to experience that and go through that kind of thing. It's just such a heart-wrenching thing. It's I've been watching the news closely. I think they might have somebody in custody at this moment in time. But all we can do is keep them in our mind. And honestly, there's Charlie Kirk clips everywhere, all over the internet, and it really has inspired me in a lot of ways about all of the things that he did talk about, and some of the viral clips that I'm seeing. It's really made me rethink my business strategy and my life in a way of, wow, this guy was only 31 years old. He was younger than me, and what he was able to achieve is 100 times more than I've achieved in my lifetime. And it's like, wow, how did someone like that do that and still have the time for his family and starting a family and doing all these things that he did? And just could not have happened to a worse, in a worse way, to a better person. Honestly, in my opinion, I think that, he was the epitome of work hard, earn your way in this world, make something of yourself. And just to see it end that way was just really, really sad. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. So let's dive into today's stories. So AI transformation kind of happening, and it's this, again, is it displacing? Is it augmenting? Is it doing all these different things? Very interesting type of topic here. So let's get into the first story. So story number one: AI is transforming global workplaces, displacing thousands, but creating hybrid roles. So, by 2025, artificial intelligence and automation have become integral to workplaces across diverse industries, transforming job roles and collaboration methods. AI-driven systems now handle repetitive and complex cognitive tasks alike, from legal document analysis to manufacturing quality control, leading to increased efficiency but also displacement of certain jobs such as data entry and telemarketing. Social AI agents have evolved into active collaborators, enhancing creativity and decision making by taking over mundane tasks and reshaping leadership and communication dynamics. In specialized sectors like aerospace and defense manufacturing, AI and machine learning are crucial for addressing workforce shortages, improving safety, accelerating training and fostering resilient, future ready teams. Tools like Zoom's AI companion exemplify practical AI integration by autonomously managing routine tasks such as scheduling and task tracking while maintaining strong security and compliance controls. Collectively, these developments illustrate AI's dual role in both augmenting human work and driving significant shifts in workforce structures and job functions. Okay. Yeah, interesting story here. So again, kind of something along the lines I've talked about on this show before. I think where AI really starts to shine, if maybe you're someone that's brand new to the show, I'm going to speak to you directly right now. If you've There's kind of like this adoption curve of AI, right? You're either like completely unaware of AI and anything that it could possibly do for you, which I think is a very slim percentage of people at this point in companies. Then there's kind of like the early adopters, the early people who are like, oh, I see this as something before a lot of people are seeing it, I'm interested in it, right? So you move into that interested category. I think then there's like the early majority, which is kind of, I think, where we are now. Like the majority of people are. This is, the AI world is still very early. It's still kind of taking off. It's kind of the AI boom we're in the middle of right now. And then there's kind of like the late majority. So like again, there's like this bell curve. There's less people that are like really late to the party. Like if you're trying to start like a drop shipping store right now, like you're very late to the party, right? Like that was 20 years ago. But there are, and I think this is kind of where we're starting to kind of see this. So you kind of move from this, I'm unaware of what this is, to I'm interested in it, to I'm ready to use this, to develop this, to invest in this, to do all those types of things. So there's kind of like this progression that happens. I kind of think that still, I think the majority of businesses and people are in the really in the unaware and interested category, probably more so in the interested category. But there might be things like, I know that I'm unaware of a lot of things of how AI could help me in certain ways that I run my business and live my life. Like I've heard of different ways people do this with voice notes that goes into Zapier that reminds them on their task list. And then it automatically sends a reminder to their phone the next day of things they have to do. And all these different automation things. I have a very good friend of mine, Joe, that uses a lot of these types of things. Joe was actually on the podcast. Joe Casabona. If you go back and listen to his episode on the show, he had some really cool things. But this, like, I think, globally, we are seeing a transformation. We are seeing a transformation of people realizing that these tools can be utilized for different things. Just for an example, I run a software development company, right? Dapper No Code here on my shirt. And there's different stages of what we do for our clients that we've really started to lean into AI, right? We have a lot of the design process, the ideation process can be outsourced and augmented by AI, right? So we ask ChatGPT, we'll ask other language models, help us build this idea and solidify what we're trying to do. And then when it comes to the design phase, there's all kinds of different tools that we can then take those prompts and we can input into there and have really well done, well produced wireframes and visual aids to say, hey, here's what this blueprint of this software, this tool could look like. Right. And then there's actually new tools like we're going to get into, and then another story, Replit, Lovable, different things like that, where you can then just go and build that thing through prompting and not having to code it or even use a no code tool. So it is, again, so that's kind of how I've managed to see, okay, here's how we can augment AI into all of these things. Now, I say augment because I have never actually 100% outsourced any of this fully to AI. Yes, we have a lot of, when you set appointments with us, there's a lot of AI reminders and text messages and emails that go out that are all automated, right? Some of our payment systems are content creation stuff. Like even with me, like, I use Riverside for the podcast production of this show. It does a ton of stuff like post production. I can go in and just apply AI stuff. It cuts out things like it recommends pieces that we can cut out that maybe my dog starts barking, or somebody knocks at the door, my wife comes in, or something happens, or I get sidetracked on something, and it automatically edits these things out. That is, it's such a time saver for me, because then I can just go and I don't have to have this outsourced to someone. I can just click a few buttons, click export, click publish, boom, it's done, right? It's really, really neat. So it's a very interesting, you know, trend that is happening here. And I will just say to this as just a shameless plug and pitch: if you're a person or you're a company that's still in that kind of unaware or interested phase, like how can I really leverage AI inside of what I do? You probably don't run a software company like I do. Maybe you do, but how do I leverage AI for the different, there's different buckets of your business, right? You have, how do you get leads? How do you actually get people to notice you? How do you get people to be interested in the things that you do or sell? Maybe you're a service provider. So there's the lead generation bucket. Then there's your actual sales and like front end. But how do people pay you? How do you get paid? How do you collect money? How do you then kind of transition that to your back end fulfillment, right? How do you get actually the systems that are done, whether it's a service you provide, a product you sell, all these different things? How can you leverage AI inside of that bucket? And then there's kind of like 3B, I like to call it, maybe re-engagement of customers. How do you reach out to get repeat customers? Is it a natural thing? Is there a referral process? Is there a review getting process? Um, so that is something that we definitely help with. Like if you are interested and you consume this content, you're clearly someone that's at least interested in this, and maybe you're not quite ready to go into the ready phase. The I want to invest in this, I want to utilize this, I want to leverage this tool. So reach out to me. Go to dappernoco.com, fill out the contact form. We'll get in touch with you. And you'll kind of see some of the different things that we can do as far as maybe AI audits, some consulting services, some development services, all of these things, because it's not just about replacing yourself. It's not just about replacing your team. It's about augmenting. It's about, how do I take this thing and then plug it in so I can either, save myself time, make myself additional money, or save myself money. That's what it's all about. So that is my shameless plug for that particular thing. Now, I want to get into another story, which is a little bit of a weird story. It shouldn't really be surprising to a lot of you who maybe follow this space closely. But we got tech billionaires who are urging AI adoption. I'm sure there's probably selfish reasons here, profit motives, things like that. But let's read this. Let's be open minded, and let's kind of just see what's going on. So, AI adoption urged by tech billionaire to prevent global business disruption. Interesting. All right, what's this story about? Artificial intelligence is transforming numerous aspects of daily life and work, demanding adaptation rather than fear. Experts emphasize that AI is a tool to augment human capabilities, just what I said, requiring collaboration and new skills like prompt engineering rather than deep technical knowledge. While AI accelerates creativity and business processes, it raises important questions about safety, ethics, and human autonomy, prompting initiatives such as humanistic AI charter to guide responsible development. Industry leaders warn that businesses and governments must adopt AI quickly or risk being disrupted, highlighting AI as an essential skill for the future workforce. Despite concerns about outsourcing critical thinking and decision making to AI, the consensus is that AI will evolve jobs rather than replace them, with success depending on how effectively individuals and organizations integrate AI tools. Transparency and human oversight remain crucial, especially in creative fields where AI supports initial drafts and ideation, but human input ensures authenticity and cultural relevance. Exactly what I just said inside of our software company. So let's go through this. Again, kind of builds on the first story where it's just kind of, hey, we need to augment this kind of stuff. It's kind of funny that it talks about, like, it raises important questions around safety, ethics, and human autonomy. I actually have, I'll share with you guys, I have a entire book series mapped out that I've never wrote a book in my life, and I already have now a map for 10 books, like a literal novel series. These are going to be novels. It's going to be an entire book series around a specific one main character. And the idea is to tackle specific AI issues that are arising, just like this. Like, what happens when you outsource too much of your thinking to an AI model, right? I'm going to have an entire book on that. What happens when there's maybe too much government or technology monopoly oversight, kind of like what happened when Edward Snowden kind of leaked all the NSA stuff with the Patriot Act? Like, what happens when there's too much AI oversight in individual life or in society, right? So anyway, that's a cool little teaser for you guys. I'm working on the first draft of the first novel, so it's very early on. Hopefully I'll have it out by the end of the year. It'll be really, really cool. And I'm using AI to write it, which is kind of interesting too. But um, you know, again, as a business owner, as a person, you know, you are incentivized to adopt new technology, to innovate, and just even getting away from the technology thing, you're encouraged to, you're almost, that's how innovation and evolution of something works, is you have to improve or you die, right? You have to be able to get better, because if there's me and then there's someone else and we do the exact same thing, but they have found a way to automate things, to move faster, to have higher quality, to save costs. They might not beat me today. They might not beat me tomorrow, but a year from now, 5 years from now, they'll be light years ahead of me, because they have instituted these tools that allow them to focus on higher leverage work, to focus on the more important things that they need to do, rather than being stuck in the mundane, in the low level, low impact work. Right? It's just true. Like, it fosters such a world of incentivization to to innovate, to build something better, to save time, to, again, to kind of echoing a lot of the things I just talked about in the previous story segment. And it's just, I don't, I mean, I want to echo what he says. Like, I'm definitely on the side of, you should be more biased to adopting AI and different innovative tools that can make your life better. But I'm also kind of in the camp of, like, you need to do it thoughtfully. Obviously, you need to do it strategically, and take the time to think, okay, um, is this something that I truly need, or is this something that's truly going to benefit me? Because the last thing you want to do is just jump onto it's just like spending money. It's like, you could go to the store and you could just buy this and buy that and buy this and buy that and buy this and buy that, and before you know it, you walk out of there, you spend $1,000 on bullshit you don't need, right? The same thing can be true with technology. Everything's subscription based these days, right? So it's like, oh, I need this and I need that, and oh, I got this tool that does this thing, and oh, maybe this cool thing over here. The next thing you know, you have 47 tools that you're paying $19 a month for, or $100 a month for, and you're like, what the hell do I use all this for? That's called technical debt, right? Not just maybe financial debt. That's called technical debt, meaning you have a ton of shit that you don't use, right? I'll admit, in my company, I know we have technical debt. I go through and I look at all the different tools that I've used and purchased over the years, and I'm like, I still find some. I'm like, I have never used this stupid thing. I bought this on AppSumo years ago, and I still don't use it to this day. You know what I mean? So it's a very interesting, just a very interesting dynamic, how it all works. But and I think at least I've been getting a lot better at in terms of, finding, okay, this is one thing that I know. I remember, like, again, the very simple example, very basic example. I remember the first the first time I found out that you could set up appointments with additional reminders, and here's the link, and here's all this. Like, when I have podcast guests come on here, they book a time, they get a reminder, they get the link, it's all done. We use Podmatch for our tool, and that kind of keeps it all organized. And that is something that is useful because it helps me stay organized. It helps the people that are on my team that I outsource to stay organized and stay on the same page. And then it just helps things go faster, and it's just better overall. It creates more room, more margin, and time margin for me to be able to go do other things. Right. So I would echo this sentiment that AI is transforming numerous aspects of our life, demanding some adaptation from everybody. And I don't want to be the fear mongerer among in this world. There's enough of that going on for just yeah. There's enough fear mongering and fear porn out there for way too many things. So I don't want to be that person. But what I will decide, I will encourage you as a listener of this show. Um, what areas are you maybe blind to? What are your blind spots in terms of what have I been wasting a lot of time on? What have I been spending a lot of money on? What have I been what's something that a wall that I just keep running into that I just for whatever reason I'm just in the habit of, okay, I just need to work around this. What if you took some time on a weekend or a night or early morning to think through, okay, what's a process that I could build that would finally resolve this for me? What's a tool that I might be able to find that could solve this problem for me? Um, Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes all it takes is just to step back to say, this is actually a good idea. This could actually be solving something. This is actually a useful tool for me or a process for me or whatever. So yeah, adopt some stuff and figure it out and start growing is my advice with that one. Okay, now let's get into the final story of this show, and we're going to talk about Replit. So, for those of you who don't know or never heard of Replit, Replit is something that's a lot like Lovable. And if you've never heard of Lovable, you can just Google this stuff or ChatGPT it at this point. It's a code-based vibe coding tool. You can, prompt-based app building and software building tool. It's a very popular one, and now they're growing even more because the story headline is Replit raises $250 million, valued at $3 billion, with AI platform growth. Okay, so they're a big player in this space. Replit, a prominent AI powered software development platform, has raised $250 million in a Series C funding round led by Prism Capital, bringing its valuation to $3 billion and tripling its worth within 1 year. That's pretty wild. The company has experienced rapid growth, with annualized revenue jumping from 2.8 million to 150 million, and now serves over 40 million users globally, including enterprise clients like Zillow and Duolingo. Replit's flagship product, Agent 3, is an advanced autonomous AI agent capable of testing, fixing code, and automating complex development tasks, marking a shift towards AI teammates that require minimal supervision. Interesting. The funding also attracted strategic investments from American Express Ventures, Google's AI Futures Fund, and continued support from Andreessen Horowitz, Y Combinator, and others. Replit's technology integrates deeply with platforms like Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure, expanding its accessibility and influence in the AI-driven coding space. This surge in investment and innovation underscores the growing market confidence in AI tools designed to enhance or replace aspects of human software engineering. Okay, here are my thoughts on this story. Yeah, that last sentence is pretty interesting. We talked about this last week around the AI bubble, right? It's kind of interesting. That's kind of why this story caught my eye. I talked about the 95% of AI projects are failing. Is the bubble bursting? Is all of this money that's flowing into these kinds of tools drying up? Is this not happening? And this is a clear sign that the bubble might not be bursting. There's definite value and progress seen in these types of platforms. So maybe we aren't, I mean, $250 million is nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of money, it's $250 million. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I got to say, I have not used Replit extensively. I have tried it. It looks really, really neat. I've kind of gravitated towards a couple of other similar platforms, and we have our own called Gerald.ai. that I like to use. But we're nowhere near valued at $3 billion, right? And we never raised money for it either. But it's this is pretty cool because like the fact that it tests, and I've heard things that it'll like actually come back and say, um, hey, we're going to test this every couple of weeks and then find issues or improvement ideas or things like that. Like that's an entire development agency that's kind of like a proactive agent thing that's kind of ridiculous. Um, so for those of you who have been in this space, who have used some of these vibe coding tools, I'd be interested on your thoughts on this. Do you like Replit? Is it worth this? Is it something that we can dive into? For those of you who have never maybe used a tool like Lovable or Replit or Gerald.ai or any of those things, they are really really neat. They are very cool. You can check out ours at Gerald.ai, and you can sign up and you get 5 prompts for free and you can see what it can build you. But you can build entire platforms, kind of like the one I showed you that I use all these tools on. You can build SaaS platforms. You can build landing pages. I actually used it. It's very interesting. If any of you do decide to reach out and ask for AI help or software development help, the tool that I actually the page that I walk people through on of our entire process was built in our own tool. It was built using a vibe coding platform that I walk people through the process, and it says, here's what we do, here's how it helps, here's what it costs, right? And I just basically built an entire page for that using a prompt saying, here's what Dapper No Code does, here's how it works, here's what we provide. And it, boom. I mean, it took me 5 minutes. It took me 5 minutes, and I like prompted it to kind of fix a couple of things, and then off we go. And now we just click a button, goes off to the payment page. You make a payment, and we start. It's unbelievable. It's really, really neat. So, again, this is really. I think these kind of tools are probably in the early adopter phase, and maybe even in the unaware phase for the majority of people. It's like it's kind of crazy because they say like these things are, they're making, they went from 2.8 million in revenue to 150 million, serves over 40 million users globally. I mean, that's a lot of users, but if you think about it, like if you take 40 million divided by 8 billion people in the world, I mean that's less than 1%. That's less than 1% of the world's population. So it's still incredibly not well used. It's not like proliferated to that level of consciousness. So it's so early. I get caught up a lot like thinking, oh my God, everyone's used these. It's the end of my business. It's the end of what I'm doing. And then I do math like that and I'm like, oh, there's not a lot of people using this. There's not a lot of consciousness about this. So this is such an edge for no code developers like me, regular software developers, people in the AI space, people in any kind of business, to be able to use these things. I will say I have a lot of knocks on them, and I've heard them more and more about bringing products to completion and all the errors that you run into and all these different things. We're kind of coming across that with a current client project right now as we speak. It's just like completely banging our head against the wall with it. So they're not perfect, but there's clearly my two takeaways from this are: one, obviously it's not as well used and as popular as you would think it was, even though 40 million users worldwide sounds like a lot. It's actually not when you consider the population of the world. And then number two, maybe the AI bubble is not quite burst yet. Maybe there's still signs of growth. There's signs of these things that are still happening, and there's a bunch of other stories out there too. So again, maybe we were jumping the gun a little bit when we talked about the AI bubble was bursting and funding was drying up. I still stand by my previous statement that I don't think this level of investment can last in a sector. But there's clearly, continued progress in it, continued investment in it. Things are being pushed forward, and it's just such an exciting time to be in this space. That's why I'm so optimistic. The future of this looks bright. The future of our business looks bright. The future of no code looks bright. It's just such an awesome time. There's so much impact to be had in here. So much money to be made, so much tools to be built, so much change to be done. There's every angle you look at it from, it's just like you can salivate over just like, wow, like there's so many cool things. Now you still need a validated idea, you still need a team, you still need an actual problem or solution to a problem that you're solving. Just because these things exist doesn't mean that any of those fundamentals went away. But it's never been easier, it's never been faster to start, it's never been more simple to get something actually up and built. So those are my thoughts on that story. So that is the last story I wanted to cover. So that is all I have for today's show. As always, thank you all for listening. Please be sure to subscribe and like the show or the channel on YouTube or Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening or watching the show. It is much appreciated. We will be back Tuesday with another episode. Be back into the regular cadence now that we got past the summer and the Labor Day stuff. I'll be back to being more regular with this show. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm having so much fun with it. Yeah, it's another big college football Saturday coming up here. Super excited for it. And yeah, the NFL's back. It's just it's my favorite time of year. So anyways, a little personal sign off there for you guys. You know what I'm all about. All right, guys, that is all for this episode. As always, thank you for joining. See you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Tech Bytes, your go-to show for software business and technology. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our latest episodes, insights, and stories. Hungry for more? Dive deeper into the world of no-code by visiting dapanacode.com. Your journey to building amazing software without coding skills starts there. Connect with like-minded creators and unlock a world of resources tailored just for you. Subscribe now. Explore Dapper No Code and let's innovate together.